We'll begin the Michigan press conference in about 10 seconds here, guys, as soon as everyone comes in.
How'd you come out? Huh? Still banged up. It's fine. Physical. Good.
Good, Mike. Good to start, Mike. Start? Okay. All right. Coach Harbaugh, if you just want to make an opening statement, and then I'll open up the questions after that.
Yeah. Congratulations to Georgia. They played a heck of a game in all phases. Love the way our guys fought. Wasn't our best, but certainly was theirs. They played extremely well.
As a reminder, just like we've done during the week, if you have a question, please use the raise hand function. I'll call on you, unmute your line, and state your affiliation. Thank you. All right, first question goes to Richard Johnson. Go ahead, Richard. Did you unmute your line, Richard?
Hi, can you guys hear me? Sorry about that.
Yeah, now we can hear you.
Coach Harbaugh, how did you feel about the team's physicality tonight, particularly on offense against Georgia's defensive front?
Yeah, it was a heck of a football fight tonight. They got the better end of it, but I thought it was physical on both sides of the ball. Really their execution, really, I mean, on the perimeter too was extremely good. Just they played well. Got to give them credit for that.
Your next question's for David Hale. Go ahead, David.
Hey, and this could be for any of you, but particularly Jim, the way that things started with them getting off to, I think it was a 17-0 lead, scoring touchdowns on their first couple of drives. How much did that take you out of what you guys kind of do best and wanted to do, because they were able to sort of negate some of your pass rush, and you guys kind of were forced to throw the ball a little more often early on?
Yeah, they did a very good job early in the game. First half, especially of extending drives. They're able to bleed out yards on the perimeter with some of the bubbles and the swing routes, and then hit the big play. They got the swing route early to Bowers. That was big, and we lost the ball on the lights on the deep throw. They were able to bleed out the yards and pick up the first downs. I thought they were really effective. And on first down, they must have had 8 or 9 third and shorts. They were able to get the ball to 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, and convert those first downs and keep the chains moving. We couldn't get them out of that rhythm early. Offensively, we were able to make just about every drive we had a first down in the first 4 drives. We had 1 3 and out, and then weren't able to convert, make the big play, get the ball into scoring territory. Had some 4th downs, didn't convert those. And then unfortunately we turned the ball over a few times, and we lost the ball on the lights one time on an offensive throw, and they got an interception in the end zone. So got to give them credit. They executed well. Game plan was good, and we weren't able to keep pace.
All right, next question, Richard Johnson. You have a follow-up question?
No, I'm good. Sorry.
Okay. All right, next question for Steve Kornacki. Go ahead, Steve.
Hi, Jim. I know it's tough after a game like this. Maybe could you share what you had to say to your team after this game, or maybe just what your thoughts are on putting this game into perspective with the whole season?
Yeah, it was a great season. To me, it's one of the best seasons Michigan football history. We were trying to make it greater. We were trying to make it greater tonight, but it was still a great season. Though this team won't be together fully next year. It's still a beginning for this team. This is about when our guys, Josh Ross to my left here and Cade McNamara to my right. It's when it began last year, and it'll begin anew this year. Start of a new year. Proud of them. The way they kept fighting. I mean, I could see they were. There's never any quitting. These guys is a very resilient, ton of resolve with this football team, and we'll. As I said, to me, it feels like a start. Feels like a beginning.
Our next question for Isaiah Hole. Go ahead, Isaiah.
Jim, you keep on saying that this feels like a beginning. How do you look forward to being able to build on what happened this season? Like, what are the steps that you feel like you have to take in order to be able to come back and win a game like this?
Keep building and attacking. I think our ball club was in position to do it, and we're able to get it done tonight. But always building and attacking at the same time.
The next question for Najee Tobias. Go ahead.
This question is for Jim Harbaugh. So, Coach Jim, you guys were down 34-3 in the fourth quarter. You guys were able to score a late touchdown. What could you say about that successful drive that you did have towards the end of the game? Because there was some success for you guys.
Yeah, we were able to get that one in. Our offense was moving the ball there in the second half. We had those drives that would have could have converted on 2 drives before, but that's got to give credit to the Georgia defense. They're a tough team to score on. Like I said, our guys keep fighting. They're not. They were the way they always do.
The next question's for Ryan Zook. Go ahead, Ryan.
Yeah, this is questions for Cade or Josh. How could this loss against Georgia potentially affect how you guys view your season as a whole?
I'll go. I think, obviously it's very disappointing right now. We gave, everything we got, and we got beat tonight. But I think, once we give it a little time, we'll be able to appreciate a lot of the great things we were able to accomplish this season. But, after a loss, you're obviously going to take it hard, and, we're a competitive group, but that's not going to take away from, the great things that we had this season as well.
Yeah, to piggyback what Kay said, we did accomplish great things this year, and although it is a disappointing way to end it, we did do great things this year, and we can't forget about that. Today we got outplayed, and it wasn't the best game for us, but as far as the season, as far as a whole, we had so many great moments with our group, such a great culture that we built here, and like Coach Harbaugh says, it's just the beginning of what we've built, what we are building, and moving on to next year.
The next question for David Hale. Go ahead, David.
Yeah, for Jim or Cade, with JJ finishing things out, I'm sure you guys don't have to imagine too hard that the quarterback situation will be a topic of conversation for you guys from now until you take a snap again in September. Do you, Jim, do you feel like the way that the game ended has any bearing on how that decision proceeds? And Cade, what was it like sort of having to watch sort of the last few drives from the sideline after the way that things had gone?
Yeah, I'll take that. We know we have 2 great quarterbacks. We make no apologies for that. I felt we just weren't the protection just wasn't as good as it needed to be, and JJ gave us more of a chance to escape it, avoid it, and run, because that was the reason we made that switch. But like I said, we got 2 great quarterbacks. We make no apology for that.
Your next question for Austin Meek. Go ahead, Austin.
Jim, it looked like Georgia was able to get some one-on-one matchups with Bowers and Cook. Can you just describe the chess match there? Were those formations that you expected, or did they throw some new wrinkles at you?
Yeah, the swing route to Bowers, and they looked like they hit a sluggo there with their running back on our linebacker. Same exact play we have in our offense, and ran at the toward the end of the game there when you saw Donovan matched up on their linebacker. We ran the same exact sluggo, slant go, and we're able to hit that too. So that matchup we were looking for, they got, and both teams were able to convert it.
All right. Thanks, guys. We appreciate your time.
Thanks.
We don't have any more questions. We're good. Yep. We will have Georgia in here in just a few moments. You guys, just like we did during the week, I'll tell you who's asking the question, and then you'll hear them talk. All right, again, please raise your hand if you've got a question for Georgia coach or players. Coach will have you just make an opening statement, and then we'll get started with questions.
Yeah, I'd like to open up with really proud of our players, the whole organization. Our staff works really hard to put a plan together. Our players bought into that plan. I came out from the very start and executed that defensively and offensively. We really had a great opening drive. I thought that set the tone for the game. I did not think we played as well in the second half as we're capable of, and got a little flat. But I appreciate the effort and the commitment to the players. Nobody understands how long a layoff that is and how many practices you got to continue to have. And they bought into that each day and came to work and answered a lot of questions that everybody had for them.
All right, first question's from Chip Towers. Go ahead, Chip.
Yes, this is for Darian. Darian, we haven't gotten to talk to you all year. Obviously, it's been a huge year for you, and to get defensive MVP in this game with 2 picks, you're an experienced guy. Can you just sort of put it in perspective what really the last year has been like for you, and being kind of back on this stage again and playing big?
Last year, I just had to keep my head up, keep grinding. God put me in the spot. University of Georgia gave me a chance, and I just put my head down, kept working, and this is what it led to.
Your next question is from Andrea Adelson. Go ahead, Andrea.
Hi, this question is for Kirby and for Stetson. Stetson's performance, how much of a statement do you feel like that made to those who have been questioning him and the performance that he had against Alabama in the last game?
I don't know. I don't get into much about statements. I really focus on performance and do things based on performance. And I thought he performed at a really high level today. He's been really focused the last couple of weeks. I think it's amazing to have a guy his age block out all the noise and just focus harder. It's almost like every time he hears noise, he just focuses harder on the game plan and what he has to do to execute. And you look at some plays he made out there with his feet. They couldn't account for his mobility and some of the plays he made with his feet, and just really proud of the way he prepped for this game.
Yeah, like Coach Smart said, this game's all about how well you play. There's really nothing. I didn't go out there and play, well today in spite of people. I came out there and played well and worked hard throughout the few weeks we had off. Because my teammates needed me to do that, and we needed that to win. So as far as a statement, that's my goal every week, is to play that well.
Your next question from Mike Griffith. Go ahead, Mike.
you have Stetson on that deep ball to Cook. Can you just talk about getting the ball downfield and hitting those guys in stride, both Cook and Burton, over 50 yards?
Yeah, I tried not to underthrow him this game. And, Cook ran a great route. Jermaine kind of baited the receiver or the DB, and I just trusted him on that one. Football, those guys on the outside just make it a lot easier because you can trust them and they're going to get to a spot, and they're, just athletic and great football players.
Next question from Dan Matthews. Go ahead, Dan.
Stetson, with the empty backfield success you guys had tonight, was that something you guys had seen on film, or was it just kind of just the results were there on some of those plays?
Yeah, I think you said. I think sometimes things just work out, and we didn't know that the empty backfield would help like it did, but anytime we can get our skill players in space, so we think that works.
The next question from Mark Weiser. Go ahead, Mark.
Hey, Kirby, you guys held Michigan without a sack. Obviously, they have some really good pass rushers. And then you guys kind of flipped the script from the Bama game with 4 sacks of your own. What was the key to doing that?
I think we practice against good rushers each day. Jamari and Warren, they listen to everybody talk about those guys rushing, and Jamari and Warren are good pass protectors. They do a nice job, and when they don't, or they give up they give up penetration, Stetson did a good job avoiding. There's a couple times we got beat, even on the touchdown pass. I thought Stetson did an incredible job of getting the ball in the air. We did not block the edge rusher, and he came scot-free, and Stetson got the ball out to James, which was our only, I think, score of the second half. So tremendous job there. Defensively, we generated some better rush. And again, we have to be able to do that to be successful. Was it a magic potion, Mark? I don't think it was a magic potion. We called a lot of the same calls, we called against Alabama, but the quarterback probably didn't escape as good as Alabama's did, and we finished a little better.
Your next question for Jake Rowe. Go ahead, Jake.
Hey, Kirby, wanted to ask you real quick. I know Brock Bowers was kind of banged up there late in the game. Do you know anything about kind of what he's dealing with and how he's doing right now?
Yeah, he's had a shoulder for a couple of weeks. We've had him practicing in a black jersey, limiting his contact some, but he's a tough dude, man. He's a warrior. He goes back out there and bangs. He wanted to get back in tonight, and we just didn't let him, but he should be fine.
Next question for Pat Ford. Go ahead, Pat.
Yeah, for Stetson, and if Kirby wants to answer as well. Just you went a lot with the quick game, passing game to begin with. Was that something to kind of counteract some of their pass rush, or what did you guys see in putting together the game plan with that?
From I don't know, since the time football started spreading out and you start throwing the ball a little bit more, you have to account for the extra guy in the box, whether it's a blitzer or a down safety for your run game. And that was a bunch of the stuff that we did early on. And, like I said earlier, when you get our guys out in space, especially with the blockers at the skill position that we have, good things happen.
Yeah, I don't think it was a calculated get the ball out quick answer. It was what the defense gives you. Nowadays, you take what the defense gives you, and Stetson had to make a lot of decisions that people aren't aware of, and he made good decisions on where to go with the ball.
Your next question from Laney Higgins. Go ahead, Laney.
Hey there. I was curious a little bit about the play calling there and how that all happened, because it seemed like, when the pass game was clicking in the first part of the first quarter, you started kind of opening it up a little bit and going for more deep balls. And I don't know, Stetson, if you could kind of tell me a little bit about kind of what the conversations were like with Todd Monken and, whether you decided to be a little more creative once you got the confidence going with your receivers.
I don't worry about what's called. I just try to go out and execute it. And Coach Monk's a great play caller. So, a bunch of those throws that you saw were run plays, and I just spit them out there. So it wasn't like we were calling pass plays every play. Michigan was just trying to stop the run sometime, putting pressure. And so we'd spit it out there on the edge. But I don't worry about what's called. That's not my job. Coach Monk prepares like nobody else. And so we trust what he calls, and we just go out and execute.
Next question for Connor Riley. Go ahead, Connor.
Yeah. Hey, Kirby. What sort of happened there with the Gatorade bath at the end, and how quickly do you turn ahead to Alabama now?
Yeah, I was wanting to get a real shower, not a Gatorade bath, because I want to get focused on Alabama. They got a 5-6 hour head start. So I'll be honest with you guys, I'm not interested in celebrating that. We'll look back on that win, and that'll be great, but we're focused on the task ahead. That's the objective. And that's what our guys, they worked their tail off for 3 to 4 weeks to get this opportunity. And it was a 1-game season, and now it's another 1-game season. I'm not focused on Gatorade baths.
Next question for Richard Johnson. Go ahead, Richard.
Kirby, obviously, as that game gets out of hand, they're not really running the ball. But in the early going, is it any added juice for your defense for a team to face a team that really wants to run the ball? And they say that, they came out early before the game with shirts that said "run the damn ball" on it.
I don't know. I mean, there's a little chip on the shoulder of those defensive guys. I mean, their offense coordinators, the Royals Award over Coach Lanning, who we think did a hell of a job, and their offensive line, Joe Moore Award. And you know what? There's somebody that made that decision that's a lot smarter than me. But we got a hell of an offensive line too. And our guys played with a chip on their shoulder tonight. As DK did on defense, and all the defensive guys did. And they were kind of backed up by a great offensive effort.
Next question for Mark Stallworth. Go ahead, Mark.
How you doing, Coach Smart? This is Mark Stallworth from the Miami Times. Defensive backs is your specialty dating back to your days back in Bainbridge, Georgia. How impressed were you with Darion Kendrick's performance today with the 2 interceptions?
I'll tell you something about this man right here, DK. There's not a player on our team that prepares harder than he does. Okay. He comes to practice every day, gives it a great effort, takes notes in meetings. I've never been around a kid that is so attentive in meetings at the corner position. A lot of them just think, well, I got to go play man. He tunes in, and he's a competitor. There's never a walkthrough that he's not focused and locked in. So he set a great example for our other players. He came from a really good program. He came from where they play really good defense. He fit right in with our guys, and he's been a tremendous leader. And I'm really proud of everything. He's got a lot of the accolades and the things he deserved tonight in the form of interceptions. He hadn't got those rewards in the past, but he's played really well.
Next question for Anthony Dasher. Go ahead, Anthony.
Hey, DK, this is for you. Just wondering, how much does having experience in this kind of setting help someone? Like I said, Coach Smart mentioned how prepared you always are, but aside from that, just having been in this spot before, how much does it help someone like yourself?
I wouldn't say it helped somebody like me. I say it just helped my teammates, like being able to be there for them. Like when stuff go wrong, just being able to pick them up for the next play. It's always everybody gonna make plays. It's about what you're gonna do the next play and the next play. I gave up a few plays, but I kept pushing, and you see the results.
The next question for Lance McCurley. Go ahead, Lance.
This one's for Stetson. Hey, Stetson, 4 years ago, you were on the sideline at that Rose Bowl, and now you've helped lead your team to 3 touchdowns against Michigan in an Orange Bowl and helped them go to a national championship. How special was that moment on the field when the clock hit 0?
Yeah, it's been a long journey, and me, just like every player in this room or on our team, we love the University of Georgia, and we wear the G with pride. So for us to, come together after all the hours and all the off-season work and fall camp and just the grind of the season and be able to, give ourselves a chance to go to a national championship. It's pretty special. But like Coach said, this game was just so we could play the next game.
The next question for Jeff Schultz. Go ahead, Jeff.
Kirby, this is the first time this year your team has had to bounce back from a defeat and face some questions. I'm just wondering if, what this game proved to you and if it answered any questions that you might have had about this team.
I really never had questions. I hate to say that, but I never had questions about this team. The resiliency, the bounce back, the amount of character. I've seen it all year. We didn't play well, and we turned the ball over. And didn't get any turnovers and played poor in the red area. I mean, like you can list all the things we did in the last game. That's all our kids have heard about for 3 weeks. You know, our focus has been on, okay, what can we get better at? Where can we turn our energy? Because it does no good to look backwards. It only does good to look forward. And who is our opponent? We always say you can't let a loss beat you twice. And we didn't let that happen today. And now we get to focus our energy on a really good football team. And that's where we'll turn our head and attention now.
The next question for Michael Cunningham. Go ahead, Michael.
Questions for Darian. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Coach Smart mentioned that the defense had a chip on its shoulder. I'm guessing that part of that was because of the performance against Alabama. So I'm just wondering, are you looking forward to getting a chance to, redeem that performance?
As a football player, you always, you ready to go out there regardless of what game it is. We ready to go play regardless of who the opponent is. But just so happened it's Alabama who beat us. So, we got to go back and clean up on some things we done and then just review over the film and just do what we do.
Your next question for Dylan Weber. Go ahead, Dylan.
Stetson, just how helpful is it to have a running back as reliable and explosive in the pass game as James Cook?
Obviously, he creates matchups that a lot of people can't do. Are you gonna play a DB on him? Or are you gonna, put a linebacker on him? That's a tough decision for a defense coordinator to make. And then he can run the heck out of the ball too. So what are you going to do? You're going to, sub in a DB or are you going to play him on a linebacker on him? And he's a special talent and, I'm sure he was happy with the game he had here at home.
All right, we'll take a couple more questions. Next one's from Dennis Dodd. Go ahead, Dennis.
Stetson, I'm wondering if you could have imagined, I guess, this moment 5 years ago when you were with the team at the Rose Bowl.
No. No. I just every day from then till now, you just go about your business and put your best foot forward and hopefully you can't predict the future, but hopefully something works out.
All right, next question for Najee Tobias. Go ahead, Najee.
Okay, so this is for any of you. So how do you all stick together as a team in all situations? How do you guys remain together, even if there's a period of adversity? How do you guys do it?
After this, it starts from really summer workouts and just working together. You always have hard times. You always got times where somebody is down. So you just pick them up, push through whatever you got to do. And it's always ups and downs in whatever sport you in. It don't matter what you play. You just got to keep looking forward and try to be better the next time.
All right, last question for Mark Stallworth. Go ahead, Mark.
All right, this question is for Coach Smart. Going back to your time in Bainbridge, Georgia, what were some life lessons that prepared you for your role today?
My dad was a high school coach. I grew up around football. I grew up around players. I got a lot of friends and family back there, and proud of where I'm from. You ask these guys where they're from. Everybody takes pride in where they're from. I take a lot of pride in being from South Georgia, where we played good football, and I grew up around a lot of good football players. Those are the guys I kind of grew up looking up to, and now I get to watch my son look up to these two guys, and they take them under their wing like the players did me. So it's something to be proud of.
All right, thanks guys for your time. Appreciate it.
Thank you.